All right, here we go. We are almost up. Well, as far as I had a good, solid weekend. I managed to stay ahead of the upload schedule and am getting a lot of good work done. And so it's an exciting time. Oh, you guys can't see anything. I haven't turned on my light. There, now you can see me. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm doing pretty well. I've got a good video going. I've got my videos uploaded. My ads are still running. And I'm just kind of plugging away right now, existing on social media, trying to break on through. I've got a whole bunch of uploads on Instagram now that I'm hoping will be well received. I have been promoting, I've been putting ads on my posts, and I think that might not be a great idea because my posts aren't getting seen naturally. I feel like they're only getting seen because I'm putting ads on them. And anytime I post something and just let it exist, it goes largely unnoticed. And so, I don't know, I need to find a way to break through and like find some people who are interested and are entertained by the product that I'm putting out. Because right now I'm finding there's this video that I just posted. Well, I'm starting to gain more traction in the terms of like followers and stuff from these ads, but they don't seem to be interacting all that much with the content. And I ran one ad, I don't even remember the video now, and it got me 2 followers that will always like and comment on my stuff, and I appreciate that. And it's like I need to find more people like that. And so I'm hoping that if I get more aggressive with running ads, I can find more people like that. But we'll see. So far, it has been interesting. It's been an interesting year. I did not fill out my planner in March, and March is now a week away from being over, so I'm going to have to try my luck with April, and then kind of roll from there. Today's topic, I like to sit down and talk about John Cena for a little bit, because I feel like he is Hollywood's little court jester right now. And it's a shame because, like, in the wrestling world, he is one of the GOATs. He is one of the greatest of all time. You can't hold a candle up to John Cena. That man was like the most recent. Like, you look at like the pillars of the wrestling world, and you've got like Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, The Rock, and then like literally John Cena is the next one in line. And not only is he the next one in line, but he held that title of being like the pillar of the company for a very long time. I feel like he was big from like 2005, 2006 up to like 2016. And so to be able to be like the top guy in the company for a decade, that's a big deal. And then he rolled in from that to Hollywood, which tends to be like the next most logical thing for these wrestlers to do. Like, they start out in wrestling and then they evolve into Hollywood, if that is like the pathway. Like, there's a lot of great wrestlers, like the greatest of all time, that I don't think will ever be in a movie, and that's fine because that's just not where they're meant to be. I look at Shawn Michaels, for example. Shawn Michaels is agreeably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's definitely the greatest in-ring performer of our generation. And when you say that, it seems natural that like he should move into what is seen as the next biggest thing, which is Hollywood. But that's not where he is, and that's not what he's doing. He's not. I don't know that he's ever. I'm sure he's been in like a cameo appearance in a movie somewhere, but as far as I know, he's never been in like a movie with an actual role, and that's fine. But like for the most part, Hollywood is the next step for wrestlers. After you've conquered the ring, you conquer the studio. And so and I feel like the only person who's ever done this like super successfully has been The Rock. He's like the measuring stick for like the success of any wrestler, but he's also an enigma in that he's The Rock. He's so pretty much great at anything he tries and touches that it's difficult to measure other people against him. But so naturally, and John Cena's been doing movies now for a while. I remember, I don't know if WWE Studios is still a thing, but I remember WWE had their own like movie studio that they would produce movies through, and John Cena was one of the first people that they pumped out there to be like one of their star movie guys. And the movies were fine, but like you didn't know at the time, was it because it was a low budget movie, or was it because John Cena's performance wasn't great? And like the more and more I experience John Cena in movies, the more and more it just doesn't work for me. And so as much as I wish that like something like that would work out for the guy, I don't think it will work out for him. I just feel like there's something that's not there. And then now, the more and more I see him in Hollywood, the more and more I feel like I said, they've just turned him into their court jester. They have him playing these ridiculous roles or doing these ridiculous things. So the Oscars is a giant joke. They always have some big scandalous thing that happens, and then they expect the whole world to be like, oh my gosh, we should have watched the Oscars because you never know what's going to happen. And they had John Cena streaking around on there on the Oscars, and then like he's in some movie now where he's dressed up as a schoolgirl, which is like funny because he's this giant muscular bodybuilder guy dressed up as a schoolgirl. And then they have another scene where he's like a mermaid, and he's also doing stuff for like commercial work or whatever. But it's like I feel like they just give him these like horrendous, humiliating roles, and like he's just doing whatever Hollywood says that they want him to do for the sake of just trying to make it in that business. But like I said, it's unfortunate because I feel like he could have just stayed with WWE and been just fine. But instead, he's like trying his darndest to do something with a Hollywood career, and he's just being turned into a mermaid schoolgirl streaking at the Oscars kind of guy. And I don't know, like I said, I just keep seeing him popping up in these kinds of situations, and I'm just like, this is not at all what I had anticipated for him. And like I've seen him in movies where he has roles like Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad movies or whatever, and he does fine, but he's not like somebody who's going to deliver a performance that's really going to move me in any way, shape, or form. But like at least he has a refutable role, and he's not playing a mermaid or a schoolgirl or whatever. And so it's just interesting to me, and it's like I feel like they do this as like a rite of passage, and they're like, okay, we're gonna humble you to the highest degree of humbling, and then we'll start to recognize you as a serious, viable actor. And I don't know that there's any point in that for John Cena, because even if Hollywood recognizes him as a viable actor and they give him better roles, will he actually be a good enough actor to be respected by the community? And I don't know. I'm not a huge proprietor of movies myself. I don't watch a lot of them, and I don't go out of my way to see a lot of them, but I still feel like I can peg a good and bad performance when I see one, and I'm not sure that John Cena can put on a great performance. And so for me, from my perspective, like him running around and doing all these silly things to be humbled by Hollywood just feels like all this stuff is for naught, because it's like you're going to do all of this, but it's not going to fix the fact that when you finally do get serious or dramatic roles, they're not going to be all that impactful. He had one movie, and I don't know if this was WWE movie or not, but he had one movie that I did like. I feel like it was called like Legendary or something like that, and he was a wrestler. He was having a troubled life as an adult, and his younger brother was also getting into high school wrestling, and they were bonding over that or whatever. And I feel like Danny Glover was in that movie, and it was good. But that's like been the only one that I've seen where I'm like, yeah, John Cena, you did a good job in that movie. But maybe I will stand corrected, and when he gets past his humbling Hollywood stage, he will blow up and be this actor that really has an impact on the world. But I really feel like I said, I feel like him doing all this is for naught, and it's kind of like I feel like every time I turn around these days, I'm seeing John Cena doing something stupid or foolish for the sake of gaining attention, and it's just like, dude, you need to just stop or go back to wrestling. Like, what was wrong with that? I get it, you can only stay relevant in any field for so long, and maybe he is trying to get ahead of the decline, because now he's been away from it for so long that like he's effectively like moved on. The fans have effectively moved on from him. It's always nice to see him come back and to see him do stuff, but I don't know that anyone's anticipating another serious run of his in WWE. And so I don't know, it's just interesting to look at and to see these sorts of things. Dave Bautista would be another example of somewhat of a wrestler turned Hollywood star, and he's seen more success. I would say he's seen more success than John Cena has, for sure. But like, therein lies another like rub for me, is I don't feel like he's all that great behind the camera, and I also don't feel like he was all that great in the ring either. And now he just like holds himself as though he is like this legendary human being who was an excellent wrestler and an excellent actor. And I'm like, dude, you are not excellent at either of those things. You are tolerable in both of those fields. And so it's annoying when people like him strut their stuff, because he's bigger than John Cena now. He's Drax the Destroyer. He played a Bond villain in Spectre, and he played some weird horror movie thing where he was a big guy. But it's like, I feel like that's all he ever does, is he plays these big guy roles. He's like, I am big guy, and scary big guy. And it's just like, Anyway, I don't like Dave Bautista anymore. I was never a huge Dave Bautista fan, but when he broke into Hollywood and was like strutting around like he was the greatest thing since The Rock, I was just like, no, get out of here. Like, there is only one Rock. And I don't foresee anybody replacing him, whether that person be wrestler turned Hollywood actor or just traditionally trained actor turned megastar. There is only one him. And now he's even back to wrestling. He took over Vince McMahon's spot as chairman, and I'm sure he'll do amazing things with the company. But it's just interesting how it all comes full circle. And yeah, it's interesting looking at those sorts of things. I hope that John Cena reaches a point in his acting career where he can finally be taken seriously, and that he's getting roles that are worth a darn. But I also hope that he like puts on a performance that makes those roles worth having. Like, I don't think it's right to give him a role just because he's John Cena, but it's also kind of crappy that you guys have him doing all these wild and crazy things, and then he's going to get nothing for it, because at the end of the day, he's just not that interesting in a dramatic situation. Like, he's incredibly interesting in a wrestling ring, but it does not translate well in film at all. And so, I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be a fun little adventure. I always try and, well, I don't say I always. I have been here lately trying to come up with concepts to talk to you all about whenever we're doing these drives, so it's less nonsensical me talking about crap and more, hey, I noticed John Cena's being made a fool of, let's talk about that. And so hopefully you guys are having a better time with this kind of content than the whole everything else. But yeah, it's a nice little morning. I've got some interviews going on today. I was scheduling an interview with somebody and they wanted to reschedule a time, and I didn't see their reply, and I don't check my phone over the weekend, and so they were like, "Oh, we can make it on at 11." And at times I feel bad because at times I can be difficult to get a hold of, but it's like I am just one person, and like I can't be everywhere all the time, and like people are trying to get a hold of me and asking me to do things, and it's a lot, but I don't mind for the most part. We'll get where we need to go, and yeah, so we'll see what happens, what becomes of what's going on, and how we can use that in our favor. But ultimately, I think that it's going to be a good day. Somebody dropped some water bottles. One of them was like, it was facing me, and it looked weird. It looked almost just like a sphere, like a clear sphere, like a mirrored sphere. It was weird, but it was cool. And I was like, what the heck is that? And then as I drove by, I realized it was just a water bottle, and then I was seeing it from a different kind of angle. But yes, here we are, a Monday morning. John Cena is a court jester, and I hope that he evolves past this stage eventually. You all have a good day.